Hi guys, Rob here. Today I'm bringing you my very first anime review of Black Rock Shooter. I hope you enjoy. Black Rock Shooter is a 50-minute OVA that is an adaptation of a music video to the popular song Black Rock Shooter, thus the name, which was inspired from a gothic drawing of Hatsune Miku from Vocaloid. I, not knowing this even had anything to do with Vocaloid, first wanted to check out Black Rock Shooter because of the visuals, which I feel is one of the good points of this show, as it caught my eye when I saw these characters with bright splashes of blue and green on them fighting in this dark, grungy looking world. It looked pretty cool to me. I don't have any issues with the artwork. It's nicely drawn, and the animation, while it may seem a tad choppy to some people, did to me during some of the action scenes, it's nicely done overall. Now, as for the plot, for the most part, it's pretty straightforward. The key word here being most. Black Rock Shooter begins with an action scene of Black Rock Shooter fighting with some red lady with a big sword. They fight for a bit, Black Rock Shooter gets her ass kicked, and the fight ends. After which, we meet our two leading ladies. Mato Kuroi, voiced by the ever-awesome Kana Hanazawa, and Yomi Takanashi, voiced by Miyuki Sawashiro, who meet and become friends as they begin their first day of junior high. Wait a minute, what the hell happened to Black Rock Shooter? Seeing as I went in blind, I didn't know anything about the slice of life parts of Black Rock Shooter. Though, thankfully, it was a pleasant surprise because despite the lack of character development, which I will get to in a bit, somehow it just works, which I find very odd. Though this could have something to do with the fact that the script was co-written by Nagaro Tanigawa, who, for those of you who don't know, is the creator of The Melancholy of Haruhi Suzumiya. While the OVA spends most of its time, rather nicely, building the friendship between Mato and Yomi, it does very little in the fact of developing the two as characters. Now, I know this has a lot to do with the length of the OVA. It could also have something to do with the fact that there's a bunch of random-ass action scenes eating up all of the time. Alas, this is where Black Rock Shooter fails. It's not that the scenes in the other world aren't interesting or cool. It's just that we're not given any explanation as to why any of this is happening in the first place. Is this even important? Or maybe all of this is supposed to happen later, but when they finished, they asked Michael Bay for some advice. The kids will get bored if they have to sit through all of this happy stuff. Ooh, I got it. Let's take all the action scenes at the end, cut it all up, and put it throughout the show. Gee, Michael, that's a great idea, because that won't confuse anybody. Which is what it did to me. That and give me a bunch of unanswered questions. And while we're on the subject of unanswered questions, where the hell did the red lady go? And who the hell is this? All she did was stand on a cliff. Why are you even here? Just why? Moving on to the subject of music. While there isn't a whole lot to talk about here, I would like to mention that Black Rock Shooter does have a rather nice range of music. There's upbeat rock and roll when they're just hanging out. There's some heavier stuff during the fight scenes in the other world. There's even some soothing melodies that they play when they're sharing moments together. It's kind of nice. One would think, however, that seeing as this is based off of a music video, putting the song Black Rock Shooter into the OVA, Black Rock Shooter, would have been a good idea. While it is the opening theme of the Black Rock Shooter TV series, I'm talking about the OVA here, and sadly, it's never played. Onward to the final verdict. I am a bit disappointed that Black Rock Shooter had these nice things going for it, yet the severe lack of a plot that made any sense, and a lot of unanswered questions, really killed my enjoyment. Though, I did still enjoy the slice of life parts very much. I give Black Rock Shooter some points for having great visuals, a nice range of music, and a nicely handled slice of life story. However, I have to give it some negative points due to lack of character development, an ass-backwards storyline that left a bunch of unanswered questions, and lastly, while this may not bug everybody, there is no Black Rock Shooter song. No. So, for my final verdict, I give Black Rock Shooter, the OVA, a 6 out of 10. Now please, do not let that score deter you. Black Rock Shooter is still very enjoyable, and it got some things right despite all the bad execution, and I would still recommend it to anyone who had any interest in the series. Well, that's the end of my review. As it was the first, I'd love it if you'd all leave me some comments, and constructive criticism would be appreciated. I'm Rob the Anime Guy, and I'll see you all next time.